Thank you so much. This is crazy. This looks like a typewriter, as you can see, which is, oh my Lord, look, nothing wrong with a nice circle of lucite that has the logo on it. That would have been fine. The reason that I do type letters, particularly to the caregivers and the members of the foundation, the fellows, is because if you got a handwritten note from me, you would have thought a crazy person wrote to you. I have handwriting that literally would get me convicted of murder if it was going to be brought up in a court of law. Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here with you all. We are all here because this friend of mine, this lady I know, took her husband to the Veterans Hospital one day and noticed that the hallways were jammed with a bunch of people just like her, except maybe a bit younger, a bit different generations, but they were all struggling with their veteran spouse, their loved one, who was going through yet another health crisis, someone who had been wounded in the war and it needed constant care. And it was awfully hard for her to do yet another full-time job in the busy world, which was taking her husband to the Veterans Hospital. Now, that woman's name is Elizabeth and her husband's name is Bob. If you take away their last names and just put Johnson or Smith or O'Rourke or Ocean behind it, and you get a sense of how obvious the need was and how hard the work can be if you are the only caregiver who lives in the house. You're the only person that is expected to put so much of your life on hold and do the right thing for the person that you love. It's people that ended up getting together in that hospital that day, and I guess it was 8 years ago, that prompted us all to be here. That, along with a phone call that, let me tell you, when one of the Doles calls your office and wants to get together to talk to you a little bit, you go to that meeting, but before you leave, you tell your staff, I'm going to go meet with Senator Dole. When I come back, I will be involved in something. Just understand that, because they don't waste time. Now, every time, look, I'm a tourist when I come to Washington, D.C. You have a really goofy power town here. It's like, last night, gridlock from the Lincoln Memorial to my hotel. I couldn't figure this out for the life of me. We blew in from Dulles in about 25 minutes, and an hour and 25 minutes later, the bellman had my bags, and we were going up. So I'm a tourist here. When I come here, I try to take in at least something of, that is a postcard view of our nation's capital. And one of the last times I was here, I actually got to see the Constitution of the United States. Not a replica that you buy somewhere. Not a small miniature thing. The hotel I'm in literally has miniature constitutions as decorations on the Christmas tree, which I think it is a gift to mankind, the Constitution of the United States. But it should be a little bit bigger than that. And the thing, when you actually see it in that big print, and it says, as big as life, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. And that phrase right there is, we the people. You can't think about anything other than that phrase, particularly on an evening right here tonight, because here we are. Some of us are big shots, some of us are not. Some of us are from Alaska, some of us are from Hollywood. But at the end of the day, it's just we the people come together on the most magic night of nights in all of Washington, D.C. here on Thursday at the Hilton. Where would you rather be? Where would you rather be but connected here? We the people, we've come together. And there are so many names. There are so many names I've come across. There's Harriet, and there's Pat, and there's Jimmy, the Oceans that I met earlier today, and there's Pia, and Gia, and Mia, and Nia, and there's a million Heathers, and there's a bunch of Ambers, and there's Nancys, and there's Dougs, and Bobs, and Douglases, and the names just go on and on. There's Susan, Senator Collins, and And there's Nancy. Nancy designate Pelosi is here as well. You have all sorts of people that have done so much of the massive heavy lifting, as well as the wheel greasing, and occasionally people like the senator and the speaker who occasionally put up their dukes in order to fight the good fight for something that is as so common sense as the needs of our nation, caregivers, because they are burdened by daily demands that are not just on them, but it's also on their friends and their family. They're the hidden heroes. We come together, and it's we the people who end up turning to each other to do what? To do simple things sometimes, as well as big things. But sometimes the simple things all add up, because it can not necessarily take an awful lot of time to manage and coordinate a visit or a trip or a hospital, or to assist and provide perhaps something as basic as babysitting services, or a place to stay when you're off in one of the caregiver cities somewhere. It takes a lot of work sometimes to advocate and act for caregivers, because you guys, you're on the front lines of a daily struggle that is not going to end anytime soon. And sometimes just the gift or the sacrifice that somebody else makes to make sure that you can make a house payment that's going to be difficult, or pay back a loan could hang on you forever, or just give you 4 hours to go off and get some exercise, or go get a pedicure or something like that. Just do something for yourself. It's a huge, huge thing that will make your day seem wonderful, as opposed to a string of one damn thing after another that has to happen. I love that this senator, one of the first things she told was she throws a lot of initials at you, where we're going to come up with an LDA research base from the Rand Corporation. I'm not sure what that means, but what evidence-based research, EDR, do I have it right? Evidence-based, I'd say I must be dyslexic when it comes down to programs like this. EBR? Okay, all right, well, she's saying something, I can't even hear it, but you know what I'm talking about. So that there needs to be evidence. You saw it in one of the videos. It was like all those charts and graphs, pie graphs and, all that kind of stuff, charts and graphs that showed us essentially a bunch of common sense numbers of how hard it is, how many of them are you that are out there, how the day has so many requirements too, that something as basic a philosophy as this, the best chance for a veteran to succeed in their post-service life is to have a well-supported caregiver at home. Or to have a well-supported caregiver who lives nearby. Or a well-supported caregiver who can help you get things done because they live in the same few hundred square miles of America as you do. So that's common sense. What is also common sense but needs a little quotation, you've got to have some spin, you've got to have some verve put on it, is the fact that the best chance for a caregiver to survive the stress of their day, the strain on their bodies, strains on their relationships, upon their finances, hell, sometimes even upon their ability to sleep well at night, is for all of us, we the people, the unrelated friends and neighbors, to hear their calls that echo across our homestown, and to help in the way that we can. So often with simple needs that we need to meet. But because they are unending needs, they're not necessarily quite so simple. You need a team of people in order, yes, some of them, hey, write checks. There's nothing wrong with writing a check. But you know what? If you've got 2 days a week, you can drive some kids to school. Or if you have a way in order to get cheap construction supplies to build a ramp, or to alter a bathroom, or if you know somebody who has a job that a caregiver can do, but they really only have 15 hours, 20 hours a week to do it, well, help them get that job. Small, tiny little things will make a huge difference in a life. that calls for this beautiful phrase, civilian service. Hey, you caregivers, you didn't enlist, your loved one did. You're still a civilian, and you're being called on now to serve our nation in a way that is of equal, if not more importance, because, hey, you know what? Your hitch isn't up in 5 years. Your hitch is going to go on and on and on. And we all have to know that, and we have to understand how easy it can be to call up and be part of the Hidden Heroes Foundation. And look, isn't that the point of why we're here tonight? There is so much to celebrate that has happened in the last 8 years, honestly. I am in for the duration. And Senator, how long is this duration going to be exactly? Can you just going to go on and on? All right, I've met the kids. All right. I'll tell you, I'll sign up for the duration plus 6 months. How about that? I'll give you an extra 6 months on top of that, just like they did back in the world. All right. Bravo to the folks that have been at home and have done this with the aid of the foundation. If there's a startling number that I learned today is by way of our evidence-based research from the Rand Corporation. One of the pie graphs I read is the total number somehow is estimated at 5.5 million. 5.5 million caregivers in the United States of America. Now, there's well over 1 million that are operating with the help of the foundation right now. Am I correct on that? Well over 1 million. All right, so we're only 20% there. I hope that somehow with our fabulous ambassadorable Savannah Guthrie, who, by the way, will be moving into the ambassador's residence just as soon as her husband can make a visit to IKEA in order to buy some of the furniture, with some of the information that can go out there, because you know as well as the sun comes up that there are folks out there who are trying to get by right now, who may not know about Hidden Heroes, who may not know that there's somebody in their town that can and will help, that there are phone numbers and there is a support structure in place. I guess that's how long, that's what the duration is, isn't it, Senator? It's not, how long is it? It's about 5.5 million people. That's how long the duration will be. Okay, start the clock. Let's begin that countdown in order to sign up everybody. I guess the point is that we all know that this is a wonderful celebration, but it's not celebrating the end of anything. It's to mark the start of work that is going to be going on for a generation. The generation of our veterans that are coming back now from their 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan and other places around the world. It's the only way that the work that we do can get done is for we, the people, to never stop our efforts to help care for the people who care for our veterans. It's up to we, the people, to take care of our own, in the words of the Bruce Springsteen song. And I think this is an inherently American trait, that we take care of our own. That if we have enough, and we learn about a need somewhere, perhaps as close as around the corner, or perhaps as far away as in a different time zone, that there's things that we can contribute, there is time that we can offer, and there is a type of support that we can make concrete moves to doing, let's just call it, let's all do our fair share. Let's not ask people to do more than that. Let's all do our fair share, and extraordinary things will come about of it. You think, well, you know, what can I do? It's just a drop in the ocean. Well, what is an ocean but a multitude of drops? We can do it. We have done it already, and this is, as pointed out, because of the advances in combat medicine and the abilities now for the survival rates to skyrocket, and people to literally survive their wounds and yet still have to get on with the rest of their lives, in which every day is going to be some version of one damn thing or another. We've done it before, and we're asked to do it again. And all that is required of us is to be willing to do our fair share. And what I have learned in my 62 years of making wisecracks and being charming for a living nice, how to be nice, is that we can do it. That in America, when we choose to shape, to form a more perfect union, to establish justice and ensure domestic tranquility and provide for the common defense and to promote the general welfare, when we choose to do all those things, we actually do guarantee the blessings of liberty for ourselves and for our posterity by doing our fair share, by doing the right thing, and by shedding light on heroes that are hidden and welcoming them into the greater community that will take care of each other. We can do that. This is the United States of America, and when Americans decide to do something, it gets done. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for this beautiful night. Thank you for coming.